It's election day in Wisconsin on Tuesday, but there's only one statewide contested race on the ballot. State School Superintendent Tony Evers, running for his third term, faces former Beloit and Whitnall School Superintendent Lowell Holtz. Both candidates appeared on this program 2 weeks ago. The State Elections Commission predicts voter turnout will be between 13 and 18% on Tuesday. We're talking more about the closing days of this race with our political analyst and editorial partner, Jeff Mayers, the president of WisPolitics.com. Jeff, it's always good to have you on the program.
Good to be here, Mike.
So let's talk about this nonpartisan race that seems like just about every other nonpartisan race in Wisconsin. It seems very partisan.
Yeah, we don't really have statewide nonpartisan races anymore. I think that that went away, I think, a long time ago in the Supreme Court races. Now, we don't have a Supreme Court race this time around, and I think that because Annette Ziegler was not challenged from the left.
We have not seen a lot of money spent on this race. We have not seen a lot of strong third-party interest in the superintendent's race. Why is that?
Well, I think that Evers had a really strong showing in the three-way primary that he won. He won 70% of the vote. And I think the challenger, Lowell Holtz, is flawed. What happened before the primary was the revelation of the deal between Humphreys and Holtz, or the potential deal, and that has dogged Holtz, and I think it's undermined confidence from conservatives that he might be the vehicle to take out Tony Evers. And so, really, if conservatives wanted to spend a lot of money in the last 2 weeks of a campaign on TV going after Tony Evers, they might have a chance to knock him out if they had the right vehicle. And I think that what we've seen here is that Tony Evers has the third-party support from the Greater Wisconsin Committee. He has raised more money. He's on TV. Lowell Holtz isn't. Lowell Holtz is only on radio. I think that the insiders are giving Evers a heavy favorite to win. And
yet you would think that there might be some conservatives, some Republicans who would say, now's our chance. We control every unit of government. We're in the majority. This is the one guy who can sort of be a pain in the rear end sometimes for us. Let's take him out.
Except that, Scott Walker, in his, I think with his evidently his reelection budget, almost adopted, the Tony Evers's proposed budget, not in whole, but there's differences. But the big money figure, pumping a lot of money into K through 12, they agree on that. And in fact, Tony Evers has been out there sometimes defending the governor's budget proposal. So their interests are tied together, and that may have led some conservatives to back off a little bit.
Let's talk about one of the big unknowns in this race, Jeff. It's the first big election since November.
Yeah.
Does that make any difference in this race?
Well, I think we saw a little bit of that in the primary. There can't be any more low turnout election than a February primary in Wisconsin. But the turnout was higher than expected in that race. Why? And it was high in Dane County. Well, I think the anger from the left, or the maybe buyer's remorse from some people about what has transpired, led them to go out and exercise their right to vote. And a vote for Evers is a vote against Trump. You could read that. And so if turnout is high here with only one statewide race on the ballot, and it's high in Dane County and high in Milwaukee County and high in liberal parts of the state, you'd have to, I think, speculation on that would seem to be affirmed, that it has something to do with the national environment.
Do you think this office matters a great deal in Wisconsin? Does the legislature just sort of move around Tony Evers and move around the Department of Public Instruction as much as they can?
Well, yes. I mean, when one party controls so much, they can get around the state school superintendent. But this is a constitutional office. The occupant of that office has a bully pulpit, has substantial resources and influence in schools and with teacher licensing. It was so important that WEAC, the statewide union for teachers, was invested heavily in it for many, many years. So it was important enough to them. So it may be less important now, but I think it's still important.
Jeff Mayers is the president of our editorial partner, WisPolitics.com. Jeff, always good to have you on the program.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Coming up next on Upfront, protecting the rights of crime victims.